Let's see what we look like on the screen. And here we are. And let me put some opening music on. Can everybody hear that? It's a very classy show. Trish, very, very classy since you were here last. We now have our own sound effects. Okay, we are streaming. Everybody dance with me.
Welcome to Read My Lips Radio, a lively hour of unscripted conversations with savvy creatives. Producer and host, a.k.a.
Suzy,
Radio
put a
Red,
little oomph into that.
asks
Let me see.
novelists,
Tricia,
artists,
come on,
photographers, designers, comedians, actors, musicians, composers, screenwriters, directors, and technology innovators about their creative passion, inspirational muses, and how they create. Ooh, how those lips can talk. Now, here's a.k.a. Radio Red.
Thank you to the voice of Ryan Treasure, who's been introducing me on this show and all my two of my other shows for years and years and years. I'm a.k.a. Radio Red. Happy to be here. Where in the world else would I be on a Monday at 5:01 p.m. Eastern time? Well, it's actually 5:04, but don't tell anybody we're a little bit late. I have a quick a task for my three guests. I didn't rehearse this with them before I even tell you who they are. Please, everybody, put up your fingers in the shape of the letter L. Aaron and Tricia and Suzy, that's it. Both of them will be just fine. On the count of three, let's see if you can do this now. Jordan's keeping track, my engineer for Voice America Media Empowerment Channel. On the count of three, you're going to join me in saying, hello, LLL, just like that. 1, 2, 3. Hello, LLL. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Hello, LLL. Jordan, they're tied for first place. That was one of the best absolutely ever. LLL is lovely, lanky Laura Legs, our most loyal listener. And Erin, she's been listening for about 12 years, and she will send me, I'm all choked up, an email at 6:01 p.m. Eastern time and tell me what Aaron said and what Tricia said and it's a little book report. And she's a long line of people. My mom, when she was alive, and my cousin Freddie, when he was alive. Yeah, they're all aging out here. And Laura has been doing this for years. And so she is in Whitestone, New York. And I've been trying to get her to move Aaron to a place that starts with L. I sent her a whole list, and I'm in Loudon, Tennessee, and she just doesn't want to move here. I'm not sure how I got here either, so we'll leave it alone. So she's still LLL from Whitestone. There we go. Now, before we get started, also, I just want to tell you all that I have a couple of special events to announce here. I don't know if anybody remembers, but in 1962, on this day, October 20th, the Four Seasons released their big hit, Big Girls Don't Cry. Is anybody here old enough to remember that song? Oh, my God. Yes? All right.
I know the song, but I wasn't around when that was released.
Yeah, Aaron is my buddy. And in the spirit of the season, the same day, Bobby Boris Pickett released the song. Well, he had it out already. Monster Mash, the Halloween song, Deep in the Crypt. Yes, it hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on this day in 1962. I thought you would all get a kick. And you all know who The Who is, right? You've heard of The Who? Okay. Who? The Who played the first of 6 night concerts at New York's Fillmore East, featuring songs from their rock opera Tommy. Okay. And I also have to tell you, today is John Krasinski's birthday, the actor, director, and screenwriter, The Office, and all the other. Jack Ryan, my God, he's 46 today. Happy birthday, John. Snoop Dogg, well, does he have to have anything said about him? He's 54. And on TikTok, we have a young man named Bryce Parker, who's 23. And the reason we're talking about him is because he has 3.1 million followers. We have a young man named Eastside Ivo, and he has 1.5 million Facebook likes and 2.4 million followers on Instagram. And then we have a young man named Josh Elkin who goes by Epic Mook, M-O-O-K. He's 43. Why is he here? Why are we celebrating? Trisha saying, Red, what are you talking about this guy for? Trisha, he has over 6 million subscribers. He is associated with Epic Mealtime and Epic Meal Empire. It's a reality series, and he hosted the Sugar Showdown. I should have been on that. And in memoriam, today is the birthday of Tom Petty, and that goes without saying that we all know who he is. Aaron, are you wearing suspenders today?
I should be, right? No suspenders for today.
Because it's National Suspender Day, and they go back 300 years. It's also Office Chocolate Day, National Brandied Fruit Day. Okay, I could have used a brandy, and National Day on Writing. So there you go. Okay, now I'm ready to talk about all of you. So I have a special gift for each of you. And when I call your name in the intro and then later in your individual intro, I just want you to wave hello. So, and today I'm calling this the leap of creativity. One of you used the word leap in your bio. I think it was Suzy. I have to look for a different name for the title for the show every week, Suzy. After hundreds of shows, it gets to be a vocabulary challenge. So here we go. Welcome to the Creativity Show, where inspiration takes flight. I'm akaRadioRed on my Scarlett Mic, and I think I'm live streaming bright. On the leap of creativity today, my panelists will share how life's surprising twists inspire their storytelling flair. Suzy Vadori, wave hello. Aaron Ryan, wave hello. And Tricia Copeland, wave hello. They're all taking part, revealing cool insights from their own creative heart. No boring yada yada, just discoveries true. An hour of savvy and spark awaits all of you. May their stories spark fresh creative visions in you, our audience, so you'll keep dreaming, creating, and shining too. Suzy, here's my gift to you. From Nova Scotia shores to Boston's bright skies, Suzy Vadori learned early that dreams can rise. 10 homes by high school, adventure was her theme. Each move fed her courage to chase every dream. A lover of learning, of music and snow, Suzy sang, she skied, and she wrote, her talents in flow. A tech world achiever with global flair, from Wall Street to China, Suzy led with care. Then came the fountain, her fantasy flight, born on maternity leave by nap time light. Now a coach, author, and mentor, her purpose is clear. Suzy helps writers turn someday into here. With heart and precision, Suzy guides every line, transforming rough drafts into stories that shine. Suzy, what'd you think?
That was beautiful. You read a lot about me to write that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And Aaron is next. In his second grade, you ready for this? In his second grade classroom, a spark took its place when the electric boy lit up Aaron Ryan's creative space. From that young charge, his stories would grow through realms of imagination where bright visions flow. Inspired by Tolkien, whose worlds he rereads every year, Aaron crafts fiction that pulls his readers near. From sci-fi to thrillers, from faith to rhyme, his voice spans genres, transcending time. A poet, a performer, a musician, and a guide. In every new role, Aaron's passions collide. With humor and heart, his tales intertwine where purpose and wonder connect by design. Aaron? He's speechless.
Beautiful.
Have
Impressive.
you ever been introduced that way? No.
I've been introduced in a magnanimous way, but not quite that magnanimous.
Okay, I'm very, very glad we're overdoing on the magnanimity here today. Tricia, from Georgia's green marshes where warm breezes play, Tricia Copeland dreamed worlds that carried her away. Mosquitoes and gators could never compete with Oz's bright wonders and legends so sweet. Through Arthurian tales, Tricia's young heart would soar to Camelot's magic and myth evermore. A scholar of science with logic in hand, Tricia still found enchantment in life's shifting sand. Now nestled in Colorado's wide skies and sun, her stories take flight where long runs are done. From romance to realms where realities bend, Tricia's tales cast spells that never quite end. Tricia?
Thank you. That was wonderful.
You're welcome. And now I'll close out this part of the show. We're done. No, stick around. So gather around where the cool vibes sway as we dive deep into creativity today. akaRadioRed's energy lights the way. We hope to inspire you to live large, love life, and play. So what'd you all think? How'd I do?
That was
amazing.
Crazy good.
That was so fun.
I'm glad. I do this on all of my shows, and on my, I have a special show I'll tell you about afterwards where I do a 12 stanza rhyme when I have a one-on-one conversation with one guest, and they're sitting there saying, "Do I know that person?" Oh, that's me. Anyway, I'm glad you all liked it. Tricia, this is a new feature. Tricia's been on before. I've never done it quite this way before, so she's new to this. And the sun is coming in between the blinds, so I'll have little white dots running down my face as I move around the microphone. So here's what I'd like to do. Suzy, I'm going to put you on speaker view first. And in case, come on, in 12 lines, there's no way I could cover everything about you. I might have, but maybe I didn't. Take 2 or 3 minutes. I'm putting you on screen. Tell us a little more about yourself and about your writing, about your creativity. Suzy, you're brand new to the show and officially welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. I mean, you covered a lot of it. I did move around a lot as a kid. I always knew that I would write a book one day, and I just didn't know what that was going to be. And I was a business executive for 20 years before I quit to do all things writing. And did a lot of things that weren't particularly creative. I like to be creative about them. I was an operations professional. But it wasn't until I found young adult writing where I realized I could write something that could be read by people all over the world and didn't have to be too spicy or too out there or too something that didn't go with my work persona. I've since shed all of that. What was interesting was when I started to write, because I was good at spelling and grammar and had always sort of conquered everything I wanted to do, I thought that writing a book was going to be easy. And I want to see my fellow creative faces when I say that. I thought that writing a book, oh yeah, I read a lot, I could do that, right? It was really hard to find all the information that I needed to become the writer that I wanted to be. And so, because I'm an ops person and I think in matrices, I started to break down all of these concepts that were really tricky and try to figure out what does that actually mean and how do I do that? And then that's what ended up happening when I wrote the books. And that's how I became a writing teacher or a coach, because I would start to work with other writers and be able to help them see what it was, right? Like show don't tell is my kind of shtick. I love talking about show don't tell, but it's not just tired writing advice. It's one of those things where I was like, I think I'm doing that, but then people would keep saying, no, you're not, you're not, you're not. So I actually eventually broke it down into all of these little pieces, and it's what I teach today and help writers take their writing from just the plot into something that is so immersive. I'm into brain chemistry of your reader and understanding how it all works and how readers actually react to stuff and break it down to help writers do that. And I do that with my own writing too. That's what's fun for me about writing.
Sounds like a fun thing to do, to be able to do. Just a quick
Yeah.
question. What genres are the writers who are your clients, Suzy? Who are you
So I
seeking?
work
Go ahead.
Yeah, I work in many genres, and I do fiction, nonfiction business books and memoir. My sort of genres that I love to do: historical fiction, romance, young adult, fantasy, science fiction.
Oh, I
I
think you
kind of do
left
the
out
whole
100
gamut.
or 200 other genres. No, that's
Other
thank you.
genres, but
Thank you very
love it.
much. Welcome,
Love it.
Suzy. We need a song named the Suzy Vadori, a dance, the Suzy Vadori. Somebody got to come
I
up
would
with a
like
line.
that. You like my
Sounds
name?
like a
Yeah, I like your name. It just
Yeah,
has a rhythm
it's
to it.
fun.
Suzy Vadori. I'm not
Well,
making
can I
fun.
tell you
Yeah.
that when I worked on Wall Street, I had to go by Suzanne because Susie
Oh.
was too young, and Susie's
Oh.
me. And so, as a
Woo.
creative, when you finally step out and kind of shed that corporate persona, you can be whoever you want to be. And
There
I
you
don't
go.
care that
Yep.
Susie's a young name. That's me.
There you go. It's sweet. It's cute. Okay, enough of that. Erin Ryan, I met you through podcast guests. I'm so glad you're here. I think we only had about 12 little blips here in conversation before we started. Looking forward, and the poem. I'm glad you enjoyed the introduction. Why don't you tell us more about yourself? And welcome. Go ahead, Erin.
Thank you. Well, I don't have a danceable name. I need to work on that actually. Suzy Vadori sounds better than Aaron Ryan. I need more syllables, I think. So I actually was assigned in second grade, which is way back when in 1981, a writing assignment by Mrs. Walker. Hi, Mrs. Walker. I don't think she's still alive, but anyway, we all got an assignment to write a book, and it was like, college rule paper, three-hole punch, crude stick figure drawings, total ripoff of the novelization of E.T. at the time, which I was a big fan of. And then construction paper, surround. And I don't know what those pins are, but you put them through the holes in the paper, you twist them on the other side. And I had three of those. And I made my own story called The Electric Boy. And my eyes were opened. It was epiphanous. Is that a word? It was an epiphany
It is
of,
now.
it is now coined. It was an epiphany to what I could do and what I could create. And it opened my eyes. And this book right here, Forecast, 45 years later, I actually wrote that and found that it was literally, I was writing The Electric Boy, but now as an adult. Totally came full circle. Um, I love writing. I'm mostly sci-fi, dystopian, post-apocalyptic genres. I've got one that's been adapted for the screen and is actively being pitched to streaming networks right now. Really, really stoked about that. And trying to publish a book today, but Amazon and all the services aren't letting me. So in time, we'll see.
In time, my goodness gracious. Yes, yes, we're not going to make a dance out of Aaron Ryan, but we
I
could,
don't.
we could, they have Jack Ryan. There could be a whole other action film genre if you wanted. It's and his distant brother or cousin, Aaron Ryan. I don't know. I'm just making this up because we have John Krasinski's birthday today. So, we'll talk to him after the show. I have to know, how many books have you written, Aaron?
Well, what I'm trying to publish today is book number 38. So I've got, or sorry, 37. Excuse me,
Oh,
38 and
excuse me.
39.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish
So
I wish you wouldn't embellish so much. It's really unnecessary. The ladies are just saying, "Oh my God, he added a number." Yeah.
I
Do,
did.
do you sleep? Do you ever sleep?
Sleep,
Oh, okay. That
sleep.
that answered. Okay, thank you very much. I
It
appreciate
sounds like it should mean something to me.
it. To a lot of us, yes, but it doesn't. Okay, I'll tell you a funny story about sleep later on. Tricia Copeland, so happy to have you back. Mickey said, "Have Tricia back. She's wonderful," and I said, "Sure, I agree." I'm putting you back on speaker. Tricia, catch us up. What's new with you since I saw you a year or two ago? Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, and my big news is that I published the finale to the Realm Chronicles series, which is my Fae fantasy series that came out in August. That's a
Yay.
5 book series. Thank you. Yeah, so super exciting to have a finale and a series out. I kind of feel like the odd person out in this group. Like, I never thought about writing a book. I hated writing growing up. Um, I finally got into technical writing when I was doing research and started to enjoy that. And then when I left to take care of my kids, I was bored and just started writing instead of watching Netflix, and it was more like a screenplay in my head. So I was just writing, and I didn't know I was doing either. My editor, the first editor I got, she was like, "Oh no, this is bad. We have to fix you."
What?
So
Wait, what did you say? What did you say back to her? Did you say,
I said,
really?
"Okay, that's fine." I mean, my first manuscript was like 180,000 words, and we condensed it to 2 books of like 80,000 words each. But I was writing a screenplay. I was just writing it as I saw it in my head. So lots of dialogue, not lots of anything else, really. Like I said, I had to go take all those courses to learn what I was doing about plot, characters, all of those things.
180,000 words, just everybody just take a breath. Just,
Yeah.
just
I
take,
need a
take,
nap.
take
Well,
a big.
I'm glad that when you got that feedback that you were able to say okay, because so many times I hear the opposite where writers get crushed by an editor. So I hope she said it
Mm.
nicely, and I'm glad that you kept going. It's good.
Well, it took me 8 years to do this. So after you've worked that long, it wasn't like I was
Yeah.
going to say, oh, let's just throw it in the trash and not do anything with
Of course
it.
not.
No,
Trisha,
you'd be surprised.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Aaron. Do you sleep? You were right. 180,000 words is not something you do in 10 minutes. Were you asleep? You had kids. You were raising a family. When did you write all of this? Did it just pour out at 1,000 words every 5 minutes? How long did it take to get that far?
Well, like I said, it took 8 years to get that far. So when the kids would go to sleep at night, instead of watching Netflix or reading a book, I was just
You were
writing on my
writing.
computer.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I wrote 3 romantic comedy plays, and I wrote the first one in 3 nights from 1 to 4 in the morning, 3 nights in a row. And I had no idea, other than I think as writers, you'll all appreciate this. There were characters in my head that wanted to be put on a stage. It ended up on my cable TV show, and I produced it, and we squished it down into 27 minutes because that's my time slot. And that was interesting. But we did it on green screen in the studio with lots of rolling of films and backgrounds and props, and these were community theater actors. And I said to them, "You're all busy with other shows on Long Island." This was when I was in Great Neck, New York. And so I said, "I'll put up teleprompters in front of each of you, and you can just glance you'll know the script, but you can glance, so you don't have to even memorize to be in the play," because I was so grateful they were giving me their time. But I had to learn to direct and to coach and to hear them interpret the voices of the characters that were in my head. But my point was, I wanted to write a play. Tricia, you'll appreciate this, I think. So I went online and I said, "What's Playwriting 101?" And I found this website that had a Word document you could just download, and it told you the font and the leading and the size and how you put scene and back, and what it looks like and the time of day and the location, and then a brief description of each character, and then how you open, curtain rises, and it was formal. And I put it into my own document, and I just wrote. And the characters, Aaron, they told me what to say. They told me what they looked
Hmm.
like, what their moods were, what they were looking like, what they were eating, what they were carrying, what they were dressed like. It was two people who met at a very strange online dating site met at Penn Station, New York, in a crowd. And they had on Groucho Marx glasses and noses, and they had numbers. Hi, are you 92W50.4? Yes, I am. Nice to meet you. And anyway, they had to meet and identify with the numbers and the glasses, and then they got into what looked like a cab, which was sitting on a bench in a green screen studio, in an empty studio with a green curtain, and we projected a cab. It was basically a van, and I had the taxi driver. They were going on the date. Taxi driver was sitting in front of them in a folding chair, and I bought a fake kid's steering wheel, a plastic steering wheel, and we mounted it on a desk. And he was driving, and he was turning around talking to them. And we had the sounds. My director went into New York, a friend of mine, and he videoed and did audio tape of the sounds of the buses and the crowds and everybody and scenes in front of Penn Station. And we rolled those in as though they were really in front of Penn Station and really got in the cab with the city sounds. It was, but what I'm trying to tell you is it was there. Tricia,
Yeah.
it was there, right? And Aaron and Suzy, when the characters are talking, when you're the channel, you really don't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. And the next two plays were similar, but I wrote it in 3 nights, and it just wanted to be said. It just wanted to become. And I found that a very, very powerful experience. Still working on my novel. I'll tell you later. Okay, let's go. Thank you all for that. And let's go to the opening quotes. I've asked each of you to send me a quote from a fictional character in a movie or a TV show or a song lyric. And you're going to relate your quote. I have the quote, a little background on it. I'd like you to relate the quote to your own creativity briefly. Suzy Vadori, I think we need music for that. You picked a quote from Express Yourself by who else? Madonna. It's from her she's dancing already. It's from her fourth studio album, Like a Prayer, 1989. It was included on her greatest hits compilation albums, lots of them. The Immaculate Collection, 1990, The Celebration, 2009, Finally Enough Love, 50 number ones in 2022. It was the first song she and co-producer Stephen Bray collaborated on writing and producing for Like a Prayer. It was a tribute. Did you know who it was a tribute to, Suzy? The song was a tribute to Sly and the Family Stone.
Okay.
The inspiration was female empowerment, urging women never to go for second best and to urge their partners to express their inner feelings. Okay, we'll get on that some other time. Okay, here's the quote. You want to sing it, Suzy?
I could, yeah.
Go ahead. You deserve the
love to the test. You know, you got to. I'll let you.
Okay, the specific quote is not as musical as you did. You deserve the best in life, so if the time isn't right, then move on. Okay, Suzy, putting you back on speaker view as this white light from my curtains cuts me in half here. Maybe we have a magician on the show.
You deserve the best in life.
Go ahead. So, Suzy, tell us what this has to do with you, please, and your creativity.
Well, I mean, I am just so inspired by people who have had careers as long as Madonna's. Like, her first album came out when I was 7 or 8 or something, and she's been with me my whole life. The last time I saw Madonna live was only a year ago. Or a year and a half ago, I'm not sure. In LA. But the thing is she just keeps reinventing. Right. And that's what I think of when I think of myself and what my creative journey has been so far. It's like I like to say to writers that I work with, you don't know what doors are going to open when you write that book, but I promise you, doors are going to open. Your life is going to change. I don't know how it's going to change. I don't know if you're going to be famous. I don't know if you're going to become a speaker. I don't know if you're going to just discover something about yourself. But I guarantee you the act of writing and the act of opening yourself up to putting that all into this huge messy project and making sense of it is going to change you as a human being. And so I actually was at a Sarah McLachlan. I don't know if you guys know Sarah McLachlan. I'm Canadian. She's huge royalty in Canada. Yes. But I went to a concert 2 nights ago, and Sarah McLachlan was there, and same thing. I have seen Sarah McLachlan through the ages since my early 20s. She's still out there doing it, and that's going to be me. You know, I'm 50 now, but 30 years from now, I hope I'm still out there reinventing, rechanging, and knowing that, don't go for second best, and know that if it's not right, move on, keep going, keep changing, keep being open those doors. I believe that we're on this earth to do a lot of things, and writing is the way that I express that, and coaching other writers to express that as well, and to get in tune with that and to start that conversation with the world is what I'm here to do.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you. Love the quote, by the way, and I'm a Madonna fan as well. Aaron, let's go to your quote. This is a little bit longer, but I'll give the background. It's Gandalf, played by Ian McKellen, Lord of the Rings trilogy of epic fantasy epic. I've got epic in here twice. It's a very epical adventure film directed by Peter Jackson, based on author J.R.R. Tolkien's novel. The film titles, there are three titles, match the novel's three volumes: The Fellowship of the Ring, which was 2001, The Two Towers, 2002, and The Return of the King, 2003. Cast: Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Liv Tyler, Viggo Mortensen, or Viggo, Sean Astin, Kate Blanchett. Oh, it just goes on and on and on and on. Gandalf, or Gandalf, is a protagonist in the novels, a wizard, one of the Istari Order, and the leader of the Company of the Ring. Tolkien took the name Gandalf from the Old Norse catalog of dwarves in the Voluspa. I don't even know what that is. Here's the quote, and you can sing it or dance it if you want. Aaron, here we go. It is not our part to master all the tides of the world, but to do what is in us for the succor of those years wherein we are set, uprooting the evil in the fields that we know, so that those who live after may have clean earth to till. What weather they shall have is not ours to rule. Wow, that's a term paper. Okay, kid. And by the way, Aaron, I'm racking my brain. You look like an actor or a spokesperson. Who is it? Who's your doppelganger? Do you know?
Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford, Brad Pitt. Like all in one. I have no idea.
All three. Okay, I was telling Jordan, my engineer for the Empowerment Channel, you just look. I can see you talking. I can see you on radio, on TV. I can see you on TV, and I'll think of it by the end of the show. Tell me about the quote. What does that quote have to do with you? Don't get political on me. Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, no politics.
Thank you.
So I just a massive Lord of the Rings fan, in case you couldn't tell, right here. It's not the One Ring. I just want to clarify. I'm still here. See, I'm still here. But I have my family's names engraved on the inside of it. And it's the one thing that I read that I remember as a kid reading and just being infused with such appreciation for literature and going, holy crap. Can I say crap?
Yes,
Cool.
you can.
16 or 15 years to write this epic. He didn't intend it as a trilogy. It was broken up later by Rainer Unwin. But it was such a massive undertaking, and it was so rich and deep and broad. I love this story. Gandalf was very humanized in the movies, which just killed me, because he is a wizard. Keep him capital W wizard, please. But he's amazing, and the quotes like that are basically saying, "Hey, he's resigning himself to the fact that we just need to do what we need to do for right here and now. What people do in the future and how they manage their world is up to them. We have to set that stage and just do what's in us in order to, set the stage for them to have clean earth to till." It's such a great quote, and he's got a million of them in Lord of the Rings. But I've always been so fascinated by Tolkien's ability to express dialogue with untouched supremacy. Description. He takes 5 paragraphs to describe a rock, in Lord of the Rings. But he's so eloquent and descriptive and articulate because the world is so immersive and so real and tangible to him. He makes it real and tangible to you, and he did with me. So
it's very nice. Very, very nice. Very, very interesting. Very often where I guess Suzy could relate to this, we're telling people to be expressive with a simplicity of words, or to fewer words, bigger words, but not so many. And yet look at what I just read. Look at the quote. It just goes on and on and on. But the simple truth of it is in there. Right, Aaron?
Absolutely.
It's in there. Thank you. Very, very beautiful. Let's go to the quote Tricia has sent. Tricia sent a quote from somebody named Bonnie Bennett, played by Kat Graham. There's all kinds of name recognition in there, and you and I can talk about that. The Vampire Diaries, supernatural teen drama TV series on the CW, 2009 to 2017. Suzy likes that already. 8 seasons, 171 episodes total, based on the book series by L.J. Smith. The pilot, Trish, I don't know if you know this, the pilot episode attracted the CW's largest audience of any series premiere. Season 1 averaged 3.6 million viewers per episode.
I was one of those that watched the pilot.
You were 2009. That goes back. What were you, 12? Mm-hmm. It's set in the fictional town of Mystic Falls, Virginia, with a town with the supernatural history. Bonnie McCullough, Bonnie Bennett, is an 18-year-old protagonist, the second main female character, the supporting protagonist, and the narrator, and the quadragonist. Overall, she's a human psychic turned witch. I'm going to leave that one alone. All kinds of breaking the spell of somebody named Elena and leaving Mystic Falls, and she travels. Here is the quote Tricia has picked. I have always wanted to be loved by someone the way that you loved me. Oh my, that sounds like the start of a romance movie or an opening line of something. Tricia, how'd you find this, and what does this have to do with your creativity? Go.
Well, The Vampire Diaries is my favorite show series. I've watched it at least 20 times over. So all these characters are embedded in my heart, and I just feel like I feel that way about my books, about my characters. Like if every one of my characters loved me as much as I love them, then I would be very rich with love. So they live in my mind. I hate when I have to do something mean to them.
Yeah.
I hate when they have tragedy, and I just can't wait to see what happens next for them when I'm writing whatever I'm writing, when I'm writing my characters or my storylines. So I just feel like that's so much a part of my creativity, is just getting into those characters and who those characters are and their hopes and dreams and their little flaws. That just speaks to me.
Very interesting. The flaws are what make us interesting, aren't they?
Yes, I learned that from age 20, maybe.
Yep. I'm going to ask you all a question. I do this on one of my other series. I'm going to ask you a question. If you had to name a superpower that you have, what is it? Just 3 sentences. That's all. We're going to keep this fast. Suzy, you'll go first, please. Do you have a superpower? What do you love about it? And what do you not so much love about it? Suzy, go.
I think I do have a superpower, and that is helping people translate what they're feeling into words. So I can feel it with them and help them get that.
What do you love about it? And what do you
to get it on the page?
And what do you not so much love about it?
What I love about it, I get to do it every day, and the gratitude and the reactions. What do I not love about it? Being empathetic and being around people. Sometimes it's really hard to be in like really charged situations. Not so much with my clients, but in my personal life, if it's hard to handle sometimes.
Thank you. This is True Confessions here. Erin Ryan, what's your superpower?
Therapy.
What do you love? Yeah, well, we do that too here. I have a degree in psychology, but I never used it. I use it on my guests. Go ahead, Erin. What do you think?
It's a blessing and a curse, but I can do a lot of things well in a creative sense, and I'm grateful for that. I say that very humbly, but it's also and hubris is the part of that, because there are several things that I can do well, but I would rather do excellently at a few things or one thing rather than really well at a whole bunch of things. So the hubris prevents me from outsourcing some of those things sometimes, where I really need to, this is a graphic designer. Several of these behind me I've actually designed myself, but the dissonance ones I had redesigned. And so I just need to be able to shed the superpower of do it all and adopt the superpower of humility and outsourcing probably a little bit more.
Thank you. Tricia, superpower, love or hate about it? Go ahead.
This is really hard, but I think my superpower too, as Suzy said, is I am that empathetic soul. So I am going to soak up whatever feelings, thoughts, stories that are around me. And that makes me very, I think, in tune with other people's feelings and able to relate to them. But it also can drain me if it's a lot.
I think we're going to be friends, Tricia.
Yeah. We'll talk more after this.
I've had guests on panels on other shows who ended up doing events together, writing a book together. They don't usually tell me until 6 months after the fact, but I do find out eventually. My superpower, which probably won't surprise any of you, is I get people to trust me and talk to me.
As we're confessing
people talk to me. They accept that I'm gracious in my questions and in my comments and my leading in to what I want them to share, and they trust me that I will be respectful and that I will appreciate them. The downside is I'm too trusting with people who are usually salespeople or service people, and I'm too nice to them, and I get them talking, and then they don't do their job. Not because I talk to them too much, but they never mind. The nicer you are, the crappier they do. That's just a history thing. Okay, let's go on. Thank you all. I don't usually put a ringer question in there, but I do it on one of my other shows, and I thought it'd be fun to ask the three of you. Thank you for being good sports. Suzy, this is the time for the creativity section of the show. I'm going to pick one creativity topic from you. I will read it, one of your 4 statements. I will read it, and I want you to just keep it to 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. And then I'm going to go around the table. I would like to know what Tricia and Aaron have to say about it. And you can, Tricia and Aaron, you can wiggle one of your nice fingers. I don't respond to the middle one, but wiggle one of the fingers, or I'll just call on you. Just a brief comment. I agree, or I understand.
I don't get to comment on it because I already commented on it, right?
It's your statement, so you're going to unpack it. You're going to unpack it first,
and then rules. You got to be clear.
It's got to be real clear. You're going to unpack it first. So here we go. First statement. Suzy says, "My favorite part about working on 100+ books a year is brainstorming with writers how to improve their readers' experiences." And I'm going to add a little more. Suzy said, "I'll often make specific suggestions without knowing much about the writer's world or their characters." Okay, let's just leave it there. If they have a strong reaction to a suggestion such as, "Suzy, my character would never say that," sometimes it's great and sometimes not so much. Okay, Suzy, so let's go in with this from you from the standpoint of a mentor, a coach, an editor, whatever it is. Just unpack this for us a little bit, why you love it so much, and the part where somebody says to you, "My character would never say that." That's what I want you to talk about, because that will impact all of us. So go ahead, Suzy, unpack.
I think you just, as an editor, sometimes I really have to be brave and say, "I'm not getting this." Or, like Tricia was talking about those characters that play as a movie, and so was Bonnie, like those characters that play as a movie in your mind. And then you put them on the page, but you know what's happening, but you didn't put it on the page. So when I read it, I'm like guessing. I have no idea what's happening because it's all in your brain and you forgot to put it there. So sometimes I like to show examples, and I tell people, like, if you like it, I'm your editor, you can have it. It's great to have my words. But if you don't like it, sometimes, and you react strongly, like, "Oh, Suzy, my character would never say that." And two things happen. Number one, it shows you that you didn't show me what your character is like, even though you know it all. You've been, they've been talking to you in the shower, or whatever's happening up there in your brain. You didn't get it on the page. But number two, it also shows you what specifics your reader might actually enjoy knowing. And if you say they wouldn't do this, but they would do that, then you have your answer, right? So rather than just saying, "Hey, I don't know what's happening here, can you explain more?" I often will give really specific examples and try to make something up. And it pushes the writers, and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with it. So
Very interesting. I'm intrigued, Suzy. I'm going to go back to gallery view here. I'm intrigued with "my character would never say that," because I was talking about channeling the actors, the characters in my romantic
they know it.
comedy
You as
plays.
the writer knows it.
But what I didn't come across where I put words into a character's mouth where I knew they would be uncomfortable with those. I just let them talk to me. So let's go back to, from you as the author might put words into a character's mouth, and they're saying to you spiritually, "No, not me." Aaron, you look very troubled. What do you think about what Suzy shared? What do you think?
No, I'm always so intrigued by the fact, here we, like Tricia was saying earlier, if only people would love your story and your characters as much as you love them, or if they would love you as much as you love them, there'd be so much more love. And you just fall in love with the story and the narrative and the characters and the setting and everything about it. It's so real. I have several of my fictional protagonists' birthdays in my actual real life Outlook calendar, because they're real to me and I celebrate them. I know, psychotic, but whatever. We can come back to that.
But wait a minute. How do you celebrate them? Do you light a candle for them, or do you bake a cake? Or
that's probably a little too far. Yeah, I'd need the straitjacket for that. No, I'll post. I've got a Facebook group that people follow along the books that I've written and releases and news and all that. And so I say, today we're celebrating Cameron Jet Shipley's birthday, war hero, blah, blah, blah. And they know who it is, so they celebrate as well. If they want to do a cake and they're crazy, that's really up to them. It's their prerogative.
I love it. Tricia, anything you want to say about what Suzy was talking about?
Yeah, I think the editing process and creative process, I mean, it's very personal. And, when you're working with an editor, you're working, and I had an editor tell me on my fourth book of the series, like the first 2 chapters are boring. And I looked at it, I'm like, that's half the book. Like, and that was my first edit. So you kind of have to have a thick skin, and you have to kind of have to reflect, and you have to come back and say, okay, like, let's just make this better. How can we make it better?
Did you stay with that editor, Tricia, or did you fire them? Or
no, I stayed. I want somebody to be honest with me. I don't want them to just keep glossing over it. Their job is to make my writing better. So I'm going for that. But I think it's a growth thing. Like it takes a lot of maturity and growth to get there.
Maturity.
I have a sentence that I put when I send over edits because I know it can be tough. And I have one client who, I was doing regular edits with, and she said, I like to I read it and then I go around the house and swear at you for an hour. And then I'm like, okay, but I am very honest, but I like to say, please always read my feedback in my always supportive, incredibly positive voice, because if there's different ways that we're mean to ourselves. So if you're reading criticism, you could read it and you could read it two ways. Assume I'm doing it in the supportive way, please. I'm not doing it to cut you down. I'm doing it to make your characters be as awesome as they are in your brain. Right?
Interesting. I have a theory. Aaron, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Oh man, I just so for a while I was using my wife as an editor. She is extremely insightful, perceptive, incredibly articulate, and she has completely morphed so many of my sentences and things that I've said that I know what I'm saying, and I in my little tiny dinosaur brain, it makes sense to me. But the way that she has rephrased it and resculpted it, it'll make sense to everybody in a beautiful, articulate, and memorable way, far beyond what I could have done myself.
Interesting. I'm just going to give a quick parallel when I read movie reviews, when I used to go to the movies, and now I just watch French detective shows and Italian shows, and I enjoy being mesmerized by having to look at the subtitles because I want to be engaged and not doing something else and just listening. So it works and plus I need to improve my French. But my point is that when I read movie reviews and they panned a movie or they'd say, oh, it's boring, or oh, what were they thinking of? I'd say to myself, but consider the source. They are reviewing maybe 100 movies a year. I might be looking at reviews for 2 or 3 movies a year that really intrigued me. I don't care what they thought because their lens is so big and they've seen so much and they're using so much genre specific language that I have no idea. If it looks good and the stars are good and it's not that bad and Rotten Tomatoes doesn't say too, I'll go see it anyway. Okay, no, not doing that anymore. Let's go on. Aaron, I'm combining 2 of your creativity statements because I like the way they go together. And then you'll just give us a little unpacking and then we will see what Suzy and Tricia have to say. So Aaron says, number 1, I create when inspiration hits me. I must, all capital letters, I must create or I'll self-destruct. Ha! I seriously have to be doing something with my mind and my heart. I love that. Here's the second statement I'm adding. I have an 880 square foot shop removed from my house. That is my haven. I write in there. I create music in there. I perform voiceovers in there. It's my haven of creativity. So either or both, I'd really like to focus on your rate. I have an 800 square foot garage that has a big carpet in it from my mom's house and only one car, and I could do that too. So, Aaron, talk to us. That space, what about it? And what do you mean you would self-destruct? Is that being sarcastic, or do you really mean it?
No, well, first of all, I think I misspelled it because I left out an E because it's really a heaven out here. It just is.
Either way is fine.
I'm away from it's like putting a mute switch on life. Because out here it's so quiet. I mean, listen, see what I mean? And so
wait a minute, where are you? Where are you that's so quiet? Where are you?
I'm in the shop, yeah. And so I mean I could totally change the branded background. You would see the studio behind me, but I'm a professional voiceover artist as well. So I've got a studio behind me. It's so quiet out here. We're on 3.88 acres. It's I always like to tell people, don't forget that last 0.8. But it's so calm and pastoral and just tranquil. And it so facilitates creativity, unencumbered creativity and focus because I have 9 and 6-year-old sons and they love to barge into the office when I was in there. So we finished out this unfinished shop and put insulation and drywall and electrical and everything. And it's such a great place that just fuels my creative vein. Now, in terms of creativity, I am not the guy who will sit in a class for whatever the curriculum is and just, absorb all of this and then learn. I can't do that. I'm got to get my hands in it. I've got to, squish things around and feel them and tactile and all that. And if it's not creative, if it's administrative or it's managerial or it's purely, no offense, but what I might look at as grunt work that doesn't fuel my dreams, man, do I tune out quick. So as an entrepreneur / dreamer / creative, all those things they come together and they coalesce right here. And this is my safe space and my haven. And I produce and I love it out here. So this is the thing it's a gigantic shop. I can't hold it in my hands, but they're going to have to pry it out of my cold, dead hands at some day. So,
Very, very interesting. I'm very intrigued. My garage was going to be my music studio, but I can't find anybody. I'm a drummer, and I can't find anybody who wants to play Motown and rock and that kind of thing here. I'm in Tennessee, and they don't do that. They don't hear. Anyway, they want to play, California Dreaming and stuff like that. So, and hard rock, and not my thing. So anyway, so it's you can come here and help me set up a studio here. Anyway,
I'll be right over.
Okay, I know you will. So, Suzy, Tricia, thoughts on having a heaven/haven where, well, forget about the soundproofing if you're not doing what he's doing. What do you?
Thought.
Yeah, talk, Suzy.
I mean,
Talk.
there's so much to unpack there, Erin, really. As somebody who worked for 2 decades in corporate and as chief operating officer, I was the right hand to different entrepreneurs who were CEOs of companies. And it was my job to fuel their dream. Right? And I never thought that I would be that CEO or the sort of person blazing my own path until it came to me. I thought that I would write on the side, and my first 2 books, I was still an executive. And so I thought, write a book and whatever, but it changed me because I started getting asked to speak and teach and write and do all of those things. And so I love that you have created that space and that you are listening to it. We only get one life. And now, I work from home. I have 3 teenagers. They are my love, my life. I've got a wonderful husband. We built a pool because I'm home. Like all the things that I wanted in life where now I can do them and I'm not on a plane traveling. Well, I am sometimes because I speak at conferences too, but I'm not traveling full time and I'm not fueling somebody else's dreams. So that really speaks to me. And that part about the you must get it out. When you feel called to write a book, I hear this so many times.
You got to.
You have to do it.
It's there.
Listen.
It's trying to escape. Trying to escape. Tricia, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is sort of my haven. You see it here. And everything is very intentional about, things I love and things that inspire and make me happy. But yeah, as far as having to do something, my characters speak to me. And usually if like last week, I had to do lots of real work and I didn't get to write and I was going crazy. And I was like, okay, I have to stop this. I have to take at least one day out of my 7 days a week and block it off because I need to do this. And if I don't, I'm going to go nuts. It's like my happy place. So.
There you go. Thank you. What a provocative and interesting statement, Erin. Thank you for sharing that. I took the sunroom from this house. I bought this house on Zoom. I'd never been in the state of Tennessee till the day I closed on the house. I had realtors here who were showing me the house on Zoom, and I was looking at it online, but I had never physically here. And I drove up and said, "Oh my God, what did I do?" I'll tell you more later. Anyway, the point is, I turned the sunroom into an art studio because I'm a painter, and I was going to turn the garage to a band room, and I turned the front guest bedroom into my haven, my headquarters, my studio, my broadcast studio, and I have all my equipment here and all my screens and my green screen, all that. So I understand that idea, but it's really important that you have that space that you dedicate to what you need to do for you. I agree with that. So thank you very much. Tricia, we've got time, a few minutes left, and I know you've been sharing lots of ideas, but I want to get to these 3 statements from you. I'm going to pack them together. Let's see what you have to say. Tricia says, characters usually lead my stories. Number 2, Tricia says, I create worlds that emphasize my character's strengths and weaknesses. That's why I asked you about superpower, what you love and don't. And the third one, she says, if I'm writing a book, most of the waking non-work hours are spent daydreaming about my story. So let's talk about characters leading the story and the strengths and weaknesses. I'm going to just give this section all to you, Tricia, because we're almost at the end and I want to feature you. So go ahead, talk to me.
Yeah, so it seems like the impetus or the idea for my stories always start with that main character and with questions of who they are, where they come from, what's their history, where are they going, what kind of strengths and weaknesses have, and where I can put them that's going to highlight those, and what kind of quest or story and who are the other people around them that are either hindering them from achieving whatever it is or helping them achieve whatever that is. And that's just how my stories start. I don't know why that it is for me. Some people start with worlds and big worlds and then create all these characters in the worlds, but mind just, and I write from a first person point of view. So you get that up close. This is who I am. This is who the character is. This is what I'm struggling with. This is what I want from my books. So I think, it just kind of fits nicely.
And you also mentioned that if you can fit a vampire in, you will.
Definitely.
How hard is it to get? Do you start with one of your characters as a vampire, or do you say, "Oh crap, this is a story about a little girl writing a poem in the back, and her dad is barbecuing, and there's flowers in the garden, and her mother is cooking, and oh, I got to put a vampire in there." I mean, Tricia, I'm sorry, I'm not making fun. I'm just imagining. How do you get a vampire into these stories?
Well, even in a romance, I mean, your character has to love some genre of like show or book or whatever. If you just throw the Vampire Diaries or Supernatural or something like that in there, it keeps a vampire in there.
1 minute each. Aaron, you first, and then Suzy, and then we're going to start to wrap up. Aaron, one comment for Tricia. Anything?
I totally relate to the first person. It's almost like I can't not write in first person because it is so much more personalized for the reader. You get inside the protagonist's head. You are them. I mean, it's so much more like of an adoption of that person's struggles, victories, defeats, concerns, everything. So I just absolutely love writing in first person, and more so lately, first person present tense, because I'd always written first person past tense. Absolutely. Suzanne Collins completely just, annihilated my way of thinking. And now it's all first person present tense from here on out.
Thank you. Suzy, 1 minute from you. That's it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just love when you're talking about daydreaming and filling your time with thinking about your characters. Yeah. And I just can relate to that so hard. And I think for writers, if it shouldn't always feel like work, take your characters for a walk, take them, enjoy. It should be fun. So I love that you do that.
Thank you.
Void staring, right?
Void staring. I had some asides in my characters in my plays where they were thinking, but they weren't speaking. So it was done as an aside, or it was done as somebody else speaking what was in their mind. In one play, I had off stage actors reading into a microphone what the character was thinking. Interesting. It was a Valentine's Day dance where they had to wear masquerade style masks, and they were invited by Fred and Ginger, the hosts, and they had to sign up for, were they salsa dancers, were they Lindy dancers, were they cha-cha dancers, and they were matched up with people who would like to dance the same thing, and they met each other. They were put together with these masks on, and they met each other, and they were standing there like, am I really going to meet this person? And they were thinking, while the offstage person was reading what they were thinking about. It's like, oh crap, I had to come to the city. I couldn't find a parking space. Am I really going to get a ticket? That cop looked like he was going to, I couldn't read the sign. So all of this stuff was going on. And then the music would come on and they would dance for 3 minutes on the stage. And then they would stop. And then I would have more aside. So I took care of what they were thinking by having it read off stage. It confused a lot of people in the audience, and I realized I picked the wrong place to produce it. But I did it on my TV show, and it was really good too. I want to thank the three of you. Got about 2 minutes left. I want to thank the three of you. Aaron, so pleasant to meet you, and you're absolutely fascinating as a writer. Tricia, lovely to have you back. Always a treat. Suzy, you're a force of nature, and thank you to Mickey Mickelson for bringing Tricia back and for introducing me to Suzy. And thank you, Aaron Ryan, for using podcastguest.com and pitching me, because you did. I really appreciate that. I hope you've all had a good time. I love the conversations. That's why I do the round table. I don't do this interview stuff. You go anywhere, have your interview. I like people to meet on a common ground, which is the creativity show, and just get to know each other and share what do we have in common and what do we have that's different that might inspire or annoy the heck out of each other. I want to read you all a quick poem I wrote from my poetry group. I'm in a Wednesday online group, and this was written July 24th, 2024. It was an acrostic, and the title was Night Shift. So the lines are NIGHTSHIFT, and I read this at the end of my shows when I really like my guests. So let me read it to you, and then I'll close. Never quite really at rest. It's the life of a creative. Going, gripping, gyrating, growling, groaning, growing, highs and lows flowing on a mental Mobius strip. The days are the nights are the days again, shifting off and on, into and out of gear, hoping for unique brilliance even once. It's a calling, command, curse, roller coaster, finding eureka, euphoria amid frustration, fears. Thus is the life of the creative. What do you think? Thank you.
Sounds familiar.
Thank you. Yep. I dedicate that. Okay. In 2014, I closed with the top 10 tips for women on my show, and I'm going to read one, and this is dedicated to Suzy and Erin. You don't have to pay attention. Suzy and Tricia. Number one was aspire to be Barbie. Aspire to be Barbie. The biatch has everything. That's from 2014. And here's my full closing. Here we go. Life is short. Break the rules. Forgive quickly. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Kiss slowly. Seriously, that's the only way. Love truly. Laugh uncontrollably. Laugh with me. 1, 2, 3. Not bad. Don't hurt yourself. And never regret anything that made you smile. Final words. Work like you don't need the money. Dance like no one's watching. When I was teaching in high heels on a formica table in a cafeteria, teaching line dancing, I made them give me a stage, but I never fell, but everybody watched. Sing like nobody's listening. I didn't sing too much today. And love like you've never been hurt. We all have. Let your heart regrow, regroup, refind itself, and learn to love again. Money talks, chocolate sings, la. And last but not least, I stole this line from someone else years ago. Thank you for turning me on. And now let's go to the final. If I get my music up here, let's go to the closing. 1 second. Here we go. Closing. Come on.
On Read My Lips Radio, producer and host, akaRadioRed, invites you to eavesdrop on her live, unscripted conversations with
really
smart, savvy, creative people as she discovers what makes them tick, where they find their inspiration, when creativity first became their passion, and how their creative process can inspire the rest of us to think out of the box. Enjoy akaRadioRed's always lively, cool conversations with creatives. Oh, how those lips can talk.